What up, guys? I'm at the house doing some work today. I got my father-in-law over here working on the grass, growing grass around the pool. They dug it in, so it was a big mud pit for a while. Pump started making a noise on this. I noticed it the other day, just running idle. And my pump's inside of here, so I'm working on getting there. I haven't really ever messed with the pump on this thing, but I did started seeing plastic. The pump doesn't flow like it used to, and it's got a noise to it now. I thought it was a bearing noise in the motor at first, but then when I found the plastic, I'm assuming I'm gonna find something inside the impeller, but I gotta get that reflective covering off, get into it, and see what we got. It's a beautiful day out here now. We're just getting everything ready. This is a nice view. It's all a mess now, but got the TV. You can't beat the view. So I am prepared to drain this thing. I got a little sump pump here. It's, nice out, so we're gonna drain it before the summer gets here. Looks like I think these are just like gate valves. I have to cut that, and it should slide down and block my intake. There's gonna be another one on the other side. I'm gonna have to get that panel off too. Access the damn thing. Nothing's easy to get to, not a whole lot of room, but this is the pump that we're looking at. At least I got some decent help today. That's Rory, Hazel. The steps were wet, so my ass is wet now, which is not helpful, but another valve there, and then we can probably break those unions apart. That whole damn thing's gonna probably have to come out of there, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain it. I can close these valves, but I'm gonna drain it anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and get it empty and start trying to get that motor out of there. It's gonna have to be down for a while. If it truly is the impeller, I don't want to continue to run it, so I've got the power off right now. There's my breaker box over there, and so I'm just working on getting the damn pump out of there, and we'll take a look at the impeller and the inside and see what that plastic crap is. You guys ready? Yeah, they're not much help. I didn't know he was coming today, so he's kind of making a lot of noise for my video. Luckily, I've got electric right here. I did all the electrical wiring. Just a couple plugs, nothing major. It's kind of dark, I don't know what you can see, but keep it straight. Junction box over here, just in case I want to run a ceiling fan eventually, and probably a circuit over to the TV. There's a plug underneath, but keep on going. Plug this in, see if it doesn't go terribly wrong. We're just gonna dump over there. We'll get this thing empty. So there are two pumps on this particular one. This is the pump that was making a noise, so I'm not gonna touch the other one. We got our handy dandy wire diagram here, which we don't need it. It's all working. We just got a flow problem. I'm probably gonna take all the electric out and get this panel out of my way. What the hell did I come out here for? Oh, you know what? Breaker's off, but let's just make sure. Now that that's out of the way, we can get right in here. Got a strap wrench, we're gonna be easy so we don't break nothing, but this thing ought to come loose. We got our valves closed, and we're basically draining my pump stop, so I gotta get the little stuff out, and we'll wipe it all down real well before we fill it back up and put chemicals in it, because that might not happen today. This has got to come loose first, and I'm gonna try to get this whole thing out of here. It's tight back in here. I just want to be careful with keep as much insulation not damaged as possible. So now I got it open, at least on the end. This is loose too. I haven't taken that loose yet because it's gonna have some water. I hope that's not my impeller that I feel inside of there, because if it is, it's not good. It is, yeah, there's something majorly wrong down inside there. So let's get it all the way out and see. I don't have my flashlight with me. I have to run and grab it real quick, but something ain't right inside of there. I can feel the plastic that I found came from there as suspected. Whatever that was, there's a larger piece in there, and it's probably my impeller. It ought to be fun trying to find an impeller for this thing. It's not that damn old. I think it's 2017, but we'll have to record model and serial and all that, and then just go start doing some research. I know one screw that's not going back in, and it's that guy back there. It's broken. It's a wonder it was pumping anything. That's the impeller. It's gone. Let's keep getting this. Let's get screws out, and then we'll get. I should have enough slack here to go ahead and pull it out, get it here on the ground, or maybe I can set it up top somewhere and just have access to it. And then these screws will come out. We'll be able to get inside here to the impeller and see what all we're gonna need. I'm not sure. We got her out. The plug made it easy. Just a male-female plug there. And you can see the impeller's gone. It's moving around inside there. I don't know what would have done it. But we'll get this piece off and have to call an order and see what I can find. Shouldn't be. It's all plastic.
Yeah. Well.
So just carefully with the screwdriver prying that up, just to be safe with it. And there's your impeller. Ain't no good. So this is not really how I wanted to spend my Sunday, but we've got the problem found at least. I'm gonna button all this back up. This is a little different than what I usually do. For any homeowners that might be catching this, I'm not a hot tub expert. I'm an HVACR technician, commercial, industrial side, so I know a little bit about pumps. If you're doing any of this, just be smart. Don't listen to me. Follow manufacturer's instructions or call a professional. So before buttoning all this up, I'm gonna snap a picture of the model and serial number, both of these things. I got the pump out, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but I'm gonna snap a picture and I'm just gonna have to start doing some research. Gotta get these posts out too. That's my next project. So done with the pump. Hope that helps somebody. Maybe somebody with a hot tub problem, homeowner, whatever. I'm not a hot tub expert. I'm an HVAC guy, but I usually tell all my usual subscribers and all the people who usually watch the videos, leave a tray better than you found it. So I'm gonna go ahead and end it on that one too. Leave everything better than you found it. How about that? And the beauty of Amazon, I got a new pump. It's been like 2 days. So we got to get it wired. We got to get their fitting loose here. All our wires disconnected. It's going to be the same wire terminals. This one does look like it's got a different type of impeller in it. Yeah, I probably can't see, but it's a little more bulky, real deal impeller. Not that piece of crap plastic thing, but pretty simple. You got 3 terminals and a ground, high speed, neutral, and low speed. And we can see we got the red on the high, middle terminal is your neutral, and then the black is on the bottom terminal. So we'll just pull those off there, get them over here, same thing, high speed on top, neutral in the middle, and spade terminals should connect the same. You just want to make sure you got good tight connections. These connections shouldn't pull off too damn easily. You should have to probably get I'll probably get some needle nose and just pull them off and try to be easy with them, because again, you want good tight connections. And we'll follow that, and then we'll have our same plug to use, and I tear everything else apart again. Probably do that tomorrow, but we're gonna get it wired right now, and I'm gonna wire it out here, because once you put it in there, you ain't got no room to wire it. So this is gonna save me some time and effort once I need to put this thing back in. So we got our wires pulled out. This should be just a compression type fitting, so it should unscrew. no wrench needed. I was able to do it by hand. I might need a crescent wrench to get this piece out of there, but it just threads in. Yeah, pretty easy. Hey, Psycho. My helper for the day. Or the night. I just got home from work. And I want to make this thing work, so I got a hot tub again. There we go. Same way over here. It's going to thread right in. Pretty simple deal. I was able to get the impeller off of this one, so I'm going to save the motor. I can order just the impeller too. I think it's like 80, 100 bucks for just the impeller. So I'm probably going to get an impeller and rebuild this one just in case the other one goes out. It takes a little work, but you just got to grab onto this, and then there's a nut on the back of it, or a flathead. If you pop that out, flathead, hold this tight. I broke off the rest of it so I could get a grip on it with a channel locks, or I used a strap wrench, and it just threads onto there. I have a feeling the new one will come with a seal. It's got a spring and a seal down inside of here too that you can probably pull out and replace. I don't know, I gotta do some research and see what I can get, but that's gonna be at least rebuildable. So I've got another spare pump next time something happens. I don't have to wait, and I can just throw it in. This thing was, I don't know, it was less than $300 for the entire assembly. So we just figured whatever killed this one may kill the other pump, because there's another pump inside of there. So if the other pump goes out next, I want to have a spare to use and not have to wait. And I got a good motor, so all I need is the pump assembly. And hell, we may be able to get this whole black piece. Everything else is almost exactly the same except that impeller. That impeller looks like it's a whole lot beefier. So this should pop right back in and connect the same as the other one. That'll be good to go. Loose connections, electrical connection, cause heat. So if you're seeing any discolored or black or anything wrong inside of here, you're gonna want a new connector. You don't want to reuse a bad wire or a bad connector. You're not gonna help yourself there. So we'll tighten that back down, and we'll just push our wires up in here as nice and neatly as possible. And what we say, red high on the top terminal. If they are loose, you can pinch down on the ends here and just kind of make them a little tighter. Our neutral is going to go, the white wire, it's going to go in the middle. If I can get it. I am doing this with one hand, but pretty simple deal. Not real complicated here. Follow your wire diagram. It does come with a low speed wire diagram too, which you're just going to use the single high speed. You're just only going to have 2 wires and not 3. And then if I can find it, the black wire is going to go on the bottom. We'll take the ground screw out and get that on there, and then we'll be good to go. This was the tough one because of this here, but we'll get it in there, get it connected, get our ground screw connected, and be ready to throw this guy in. And we got everything in there. Looks pretty good, nice and tight. Take your cover, we're gonna slide it back on there, and we'll get that top screw in, secure it. This is the ground of the unit that we took off to take it out, and this guy will be ready to throw back in the morning, or I still got some daylight. So, I don't know. I don't know how froggy I'm feeling tonight, but at least part of it's done. Got her in place. I drop my pipes back down. I'm leaving these loose to just have a little bit of movement until we get everything tight. So you're gonna need that play in the motor because it's not gonna line up just perfect. You don't want to screw up your threads, you don't want to cross thread it, and We're gonna use a little silicone grease just to lube up these seals here. Make sure there's no dirt or debris, and then we'll be able to tighten this guy down, fill her up. Well, this is the tricky part. Because it's so tight back in there, that doesn't quite line up well. I don't have much movement out of it, but I think if I just tip it something like that, and then get that on there, it's gonna be a pain in the ass, but then I can just kind of push it back in place. It don't leave you much room to play.
That's the new one?
It's a good thing I was recording, because I couldn't figure out where that tube went. It goes here. This came out of the other head of that pump. So now that I'm in place, it's gonna make it harder. I should have done this first, but we're gonna take that plug out, get that in. Just a little bit of nylon white. Refrigeration technologies, man. And the first problem. This is a different size than that. I was gonna save the plug, I was gonna put it in here, but it doesn't thread. Threads are too small. So now what do? Well, I don't know. I'm not a hot tub expert. I'd say it's gonna be all right. I'm not sure what that tube's for. It just runs back up into everything, so it might help the pump prime. For right now, I'm gonna have to do a Google search. It's worth a Google and see. I'm gonna have to plug this probably. I might have to get something if it truly is there to help prime the pump, which would be my thought. I'm gonna have to find a piece like this with the right size threads. I can probably find it somewhere, but for now I think it's gonna run. We might have to prime it ourselves, but since I got it all apart, I'll fill it up and let bleed water to here, and then I'm gonna have to just think about that and Google, see what the hell I'm supposed to do here. But it'll at least run. We just gotta make sure it's primed, and then I just got to remember the next time I drain it, if I don't hook that tube back up, and then I've got to find something to plug that to. Watson's for the win. Just a little bit of nylog. I didn't have anything to plug that with, so I had to run and grab it. That ought to fit right in there. Wire tie. It's looking pretty good back here. Now we're just gonna spray it down, vacuum it out, fill it up, and as it fills, we're just gonna make sure we don't have any leaks on any of our fittings. We're gonna let it sit for a little while with water on it, and once we find out we don't have any leaks, we're gonna put everything back together, and probably gonna leave this off to begin with until I can actually turn the pumps on, make sure it sounds good, all that good stuff. Make sure I have no leaks with it running. Hey, what's wrong with y'all? They think it's time to eat or something. So we're just gonna use the wire ties and tie everything up real well, make sure it's secured. And we're gonna put our pieces back in and make sure that we wire tie those like they were, because we don't want those valves closing while it's running. That would be bad. So most of my usual viewers are HVAC guys. Like I said earlier, I'm an HVAC tech. If you don't know anything about electrical, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm cutting and cleaning up the electrical a little bit, but the biggest thing I see, at least in the HVAC trade, and probably everywhere if I had to guess, when doing electrical, is just the care that's taken. It really, just take your time, make your wires neat, don't leave them 3 feet long like they were when I started, and you don't want to damage the inside copper when you're stripping this. If you start getting some of these strands, especially with stranded wires, start losing some strands, then you ain't got the same wire. And you want to make sure when you get it back in there, it's going to be hard to show you guys, but there's a lug in there, and when you tighten it down, it pinches the wire. You want to make sure you're pinching the copper wire and not the insulation. You can have a bad connection if you're pinching the insulation, and it will overheat and burn up, and you got a whole nother problem. So just take a little care when you're doing your electrical work. And if you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. This is not a DIY channel, and I'm not a hot tub guy. One thing I didn't mention while we're talking about electrical wiring is just kind of checking everything. You got some connections down here. This is going to be a heater, I would assume, and we're going to have temp sensors, I would assume as well. We don't want to put any stress on these sensors or anything else. You don't want the wire like pulling or pushing or doing anything crazy. We'll make sure everything's tight. And if you look closely enough, things are labeled. So that's pump 2. And that's going to be the other pump, which is on the other side, I'm assuming. And we've got a stereo option. How about that? This thing's pretty sweet. It doesn't have a stereo. What the hell am I doing? We got the TV going. Thunder over Louisville. Largest fireworks show in North America. I don't know, I could be making things up, but it's pretty cool. We're watching the air show now, and once this guy fills up, I'm gonna turn it on and probably be watching fireworks from here tonight. I usually fit them all in, snug them down so they don't move, and then you want to come back and I can't emphasize enough, make sure you got tight connections. Your covers are there for a reason. Put them back on. Don't strip your screws out. That's pretty cool. Coast Guard. How about that? Well, we're getting close to done. Now grab a beer and relax, right? Should probably be doing a van tour. We'll do it one day. It's still pretty clean. A lot of work keeping a van clean, but it pays off in the end because it's nice to be able to get in here and find stuff. I need to find something to tack that foil backing stuff. So I got a mess here in the garage too. I've been doing a lot of stuff, but I'm gonna find something over here to tack that up and just kind of hold it in place while I put the panel back on. All right, we just got some little drywall screws that'll work, and be the same Phillips head. Pretty easy. Shout out to Brian. How about that? Pretty sweet sticker. We're about there. I got the filters soaking inside, but we can turn it on without the filters for right now. Shouldn't hurt it. Get some shit moving around. Goes the power. Give it a minute and it'll load up and everything, and once it's ready, it'll tell us to push the button, start the pumps, and circulate to get all the air out. We're just gonna go with just some shock, and once we get the chemicals and get it kind of moving around a little bit, we'll put the whole bottle of I'm not a water guy, just follow your instructions. Run pumps, purge air, pump 1. That should be my pump. Looks good, no water leaks. Listening for air or anything you can hear when there's air in a pump like that usually. And before I cycle it up, because that's my 2-speed, I'm just gonna get the air out, let it run for a little bit. And we need to make sure we do get a filter in it before we run it for too long. We got some just floaties it's a nice spring day. Neighbor cutting his grass. I got the rest of the grass was cut. I gotta get those posts out too. That's my next task. But high speed. That's what it ought to look like. It did not look like that before. Sounds pretty good. Pump 2. That one didn't start right away, so we're gonna give it a minute. We don't want to just keep punching that button. It's got air and everything else in it, so I don't want to tear that one up. There we go. Now, that's what I'm talking about. A clean filter goes a long way too, so I built this just PVC shoved in the ground, nothing special. But that goes on there nice, and I can get it with the hose. Put the top on. Where's the... What did I do with the basket? Got a basket from the last time. Right there, how about that? I was using some chlorine tablets. Don't usually do that. We've got the filter soaked in, I don't know, whatever cartridge cleaner it is. We do want to get chlorine in it, so we're just going to get rid of the tablets. I ran out of actual powder, the good stuff that I usually use. So I just threw some pool tabs in there to keep the chlorine in it before I drained it. Tell you what, 58 degrees feels good on the hands. I half tempted to jump in that damn thing. We're just scale after we get some chlorine in it. It shouldn't take too long. We're just going to put that in there. We'll check it again here. We'll let it run for 15 minutes or so. The pumps run for 15 minutes, so I usually just kick them on, let them run, and then once they stop, I'll kick them on again and start checking the chemicals. Got some chlorine in it. Everything else is a little low, so we'll get. I use some Spot Up, or you just use basically baking soda. Throw some baking soda in it and get the pH and the alkalinity up a little bit, and we'll be good to go. So we're about done. I got the chemicals straight. I needed to warm up faster because I'm running out of daylight. I got a sunset and a clean space now, and I'm watching airplanes. We're gonna see some fireworks over 2nd Street Bridge there here soon. So for anybody still watching, I appreciate y'all. This is a little different than what I usually do, but I do appreciate it. Leave a trade better than you found it. I'll see y'all next time.